afternoon, everyone, on Super Bowl Sunday. And today, the Falcons will play the Patriots for the Lombardi Trophy for the 51st time. So, you'll get two teams and two cities. Let's talk about the cities first. The city of Boston. The Bruins won a championship about 5-6 years ago. The Red Sox have won 3. The Patriots won 4. Could win 5 today. And the Celtics won a championship in 2008. And you really look at the city of Boston, they have more championships than anyone since, say, the year 2000, the turn of the century. And every team this year has a chance to win one. The Celtics and Isaiah, they've been great this year. Maybe they can figure out to break LeBron's Eastern Conference password. The Bruins, they're hanging in there. If they can get in, who knows? And then you look at the Red Sox, the addition of Chris Sale. Hey, that could happen. And the Patriots, obviously, today. So the city of Boston, all 4 teams have a chance to win a championship in the year 2017, which that is pretty remarkable. And then the city of Atlanta, on the other hand, the Braves have been around since 1966. They won one in 95. It's going to be a few more years till they can win another one. Then you look at the Falcons, of course, they can win one today. Lost in 98. Throughout the Matt Ryan era, they've had some good teams. This is finally the first great team, so we'll see what happens today. And then you have the Hawks. They've been in the playoffs in and out past 10 years, and I have no idea where they're heading. And then, they had the Thrashers for about 10 years. They left and made the playoffs just once. I don't even think they ever won a single playoff game. So, city of Atlanta, the closest thing there is to Cleveland, one championship in, say, 50 years, which Boston has it way better than, say, Atlanta and two tails, the heart of the North versus kind of on the borderline, the deep South, they're completely opposite. And so now, let's break down each team. So you look at coaches. Dan Quinn, he was the defensive coordinator on the 2 Super Bowl teams, and then has been the coach for the past 2 years. What he has done is he's able to figure out the top scoring offense in the National Football League, MVP in Matt Ryan, the combination of Freeman and Ward, we'll break them down more closely in a minute. Julio Jones and his defense, he's trying to model him after the Seahawks. He got good draft picks in Keanu Neal, Deion Jones, Vic Beasley, all really emerging, and they're all in their first or second year. So Dan Quinn was definitely a Coach of the Year candidate. Did not win it, but I thought he definitely deserved it. And then you look at Coach Bill Belichick. He's won 4 Super Bowls. It was him who came the same time as Brady. And with this team, he treats everyone the same. If you're not trying as hard, he said, you know what? You're out. I don't care if you're the 52nd man or whether you're the second most likely man to make the roster. Bill Belichick is a great coach, and when the media asks him something, he doesn't worry about it. He just moves on. The classic example, 2 years ago, it was week 4, 2014, which that seems like a long time ago. They were 2-2, and Jimmy Garoppolo played pretty well for the first time in place of Brady. And that's, so what is the quarterback situation going to be like this week? And he said, on to Cincinnati. What do you think is going to happen this year? Is your team worse this year? On to Cincinnati. And what Bill Belichick did was he forgot about the Chiefs game instantly and moved on. They won the Super Bowl, lost in the conference championship game the next year to the Broncos, and this year, they may very well win their 5th Super Bowl, and if it weren't for David Tyree and, Eli Manning and the Giants, they could be going for their 7th Super Bowl. And who knows, with the 2006 loss, if things could have gone their way, they could have 8-9 Super Bowls. If everything goes 100% their way. So, Bill Belichick is clearly a better coach, might be the greatest coach ever. If he wins that 5th Super Bowl today, there's no question he's the greatest coach ever, and the debate may not be reopened for another 20 years. Same thing with Brady. So, coaching advantage, it's clear it is Bill Belichick, but Dan Quinn, he's a good young coach. I really think he has a future in this league, and who knows? If the Falcons don't win today, they got a great future ahead of them. So, you then look at the quarterbacks. Matt Ryan was the MVP and Offensive Player of the Year. He was outstanding this year. He had all sorts of options. Could throw a screen to Gabriel, gone. Could hand it off to Coleman and Freeman. They could make an explosive play. You could throw a screen pass to Julio or a deep ball to Julio. They had all sorts of options. Sanu was an outstanding wingman as he was for years in Cincinnati. And you just look at what that offense did. And Matt Ryan, so throughout his career, yes, this is his first Super Bowl appearance. And coming in this year, he won just one playoff game. He had the struggles in 13 and 14, and even in 15. People are starting to wonder, is he that franchise quarterback that he thought he was? Well, he has MVP, and today he has a chance to win the city of Atlanta Super Bowl. I mean, think about it. They were a laughingstock for so many years, and this is the best era in Falcons history with Matt Ryan. And then you look at Tom Brady. So Tom Brady was spectacular this year after he came back. Just played so well, so smart, great at reading blitzes, always finds the open man, has so many good options, so great at turning mediocre receivers into really good receivers. And you saw what Tom Brady did this year. He was remarkable. I think if he wasn't suspended 4 games, would have won the MVP. I thought it was a really close race. He was deserving too. I'm glad they gave it to Ryan. I felt like he was the most deserving player since he was the most consistent all year long, didn't miss any games, and just had it's Ryan. So, quarterback advantage career-wise, it's clearly Brady. It's almost a tie. I don't know how to break the tie. I really don't, but since I guess Ryan won the MVP, but then again, it's Brady. He's been so clutch throughout his career, led 2 Super Bowl games when he drives. Actually, 3. I'm going to give it to Brady just due to experience. So then, you look at the running back position. So Falcons, let's go with them first. There's Devontae Freeman, who's about 5'9", 210 pounds, He's small, but he at times can run over people, has great speaking, explosive, can, turn a 2-yard run into a 75-yard run, great at pass catching, He was a Pro Bowler this year, he was outstanding, he's been great the last 2 years for the Falcons. And then you look at Tavon Coleman, who is a little bit taller. He is just as fast, he's explosiveness, and what I talked about with the running back position, for years and years, they had Michael Turner and Steven Jackson. They were power backs. And I think the problem was they didn't really have a running game. They needed to get more explosive, and they did just that. So I really like that running back combination. And then you go over to the Patriots running backs. You have LeGarrette Blount, who had 18 touchdowns this year. He's a great power back. Throughout his career, that's what he's been doing. I think now that Marshawn Lynch retired, he's the best power back in the NFL. And then you look at his playoff careers and many great playoff games for the Patriots throughout his career. He's been huge for them. I think he's the best running back in this era recently. He's been the guy for the past 3 or 4 years, minus a half a season in Pittsburgh. So when I look at it, Blount is the best running back on the Patriots. And then you have Dion Lewis, who's explosive. We saw that game in Houston, can pull off long runs, can catch a pass and be gone, can return kicks. He's kind of what they missed, and, it's been great having him back. And then you look at James White, who's I'd say is a really good pass-catching back. So really they have 3 options. So you have a power guy, who you can just give the ball to 20 times a game, can just plow through. Then you got a speed guy, and then another pass-catching back. The Patriots, while they don't have a full Le'Veon Bell type running back, and throughout this era, they've never had an all-time great running back. But they've had solid running backs who have their roles, like Bill Belichick does. He maximizes the player's potential. And that's what you see with the Patriots this year. So if you look at running, well, I'd rather have Blount on 4th and 1 or 3rd and 1. I overall like the Falcons running better. They have more consistent go-to backs. Again, both teams have good running. Not great running, but I'm going to give it to the Falcons. So now you look at receivers. Let's go over Atlanta first. So you look at Julio Jones. He's been really athletic. He's made so many great plays this year. The 300-yard game against the Panthers has had some great games. And even when he looks like you look at the box score and you see, he had 3 catches for 30 yards or he had 2 catches for 18 yards. Well, what Julio Jones does is teams get so focused on him that he opens up, he makes other receivers better. Maybe Mohamed Sanu's open, or Taylor Gabriel's open, or Aldrick Robinson, Justin Hardy, Tuilovo. Again, there's just so many options, and Matt Ryan has thrown a touchdown to 13 different receivers. So Julio Jones, when he's on, he's impossible to stop. And even when he's not putting up his best numbers, that opens up space for other receivers. So when you look at it, Julio Jones is clearly the best receiver in the NFL. And, throughout his career, it's not his first time on the big stage. He was really hyped coming out of high school. Was so good that the Falcons made a huge risk. They gave up 2 first-round picks for him, and he's been great for them. And, Julio Jones, best receiver in the NFL. I don't know if there's any question about it. He's so big, but then he has great speed. And then, also, his athleticism. He has all 3 packages the receiver has, plus hands. He makes plays that almost no one can make. We saw it in Green Bay. He completely caught it, despite being held. One guy tackled him, just couldn't even come close, and then he just stiff-armed the other guy down, and you just look at how good Julio Jones is. He's done it throughout his career. He's been well known for 10 years now. And you just there's no better receiver in the NFL. And finally, let's go over to Mohamed Sanu. So, again, he was AJ Green's wingman in in Cincinnati for years, and now, he's their 2 receiver. He's made some big plays this year for sure. Again, when AJ Green's Julio Jones is not having his best night, he steps up. He's really done a great job. And Taylor Gabriel, let's talk about him for a minute. So, he's the exact opposite of Julio Jones. He was cut by the Browns. And then went to Albany Christian, I think, who just recently is a Division I school. I believe they're FCS. So, just look at what happened. He was an amazing story. Was not hyped in high school like Julio Jones was all 4 years. He was small. He's a complete opposite. Was not basically so valuable that you're willing to give up basically 2 first-round picks for him. He was an undrafted free agent and then cut by the Browns. So now you look at it and you see just how good Gabriel's been this year. They throw him a screen pass. Gone. Touchdown. He can be a deep ball option if he can get in front of the defense. And then you run reverses, jet sweeps, all that stuff. Julio Jones, Julio Jones and also Taylor Gabriel very well could be the Super Bowl MVP. And then you have Austin Hooper, who was a rookie. He was solid this year too. Toilovo, well, you look at it, does not make a lot of plays, does not catch a lot of balls, is good at blocking. When he does catch the ball, he'll go pretty far. So, great receiving core, all sorts of weapons. Coleman and Freeman, threats out of the backfield. Now let's go over to the New England side. So, Julian Edelman, again, he's been on the Patriots now for 8 years. He's one of those receivers who's good, but Tom Brady just makes him better. Julian Edelman is just a great slot receiver. And when you look at how good he is in the slot, best slot receiver in the NFL. And then you look at Chris Hogan, who, again, played 1 year of college football at Mammoth. And then, you see he was on the Bills for a good number of years. And when you saw him on the Bills, he was undershadowed, poor quarterback, running a huge amount, was on the Bills for 4 years, went to the Patriots, was pretty unknown by many fans. And then he comes in and leads the NFL in yards per catch. We saw what he did in Houston. Against Houston, he caught some 40-yard passes. Against Pittsburgh, he was absolutely spectacular at 180 yards receiving. So Chris Hogan, he could have a great game tonight. I think he really can. And again, Tom Brady is great at turning into a okay, mediocre receiver into a really good receiver. That's what he does. And when you see that, that's what makes this team better. And then you look at other guys. Damon Amendola, he was okay this year. He's hurt a lot. His numbers were down. And then you look at Gronkowski. So he started out, played terrible the first couple games. I think he only caught 1 pass in the first 2 games. And then when Brady came back, he was great for about 8 weeks, so about half a season. And then he went down. He's been out for the last 8 weeks. Has not been part of this run, which unfortunately is not a first for him. He's missed many playoff runs. And then you look at Martellus Bennett. Bennett, he's been really good this year. He was supposed to be the number 2 guy, kind of a backup option if Gronk gets hurt. They've been looking at that for years. He was great when he was playing. So again, they have a backup plan. Just imagine if they would have had Gronk for this run. I think they would have been even better. So if you look at the tight end, if you look at the receiving cores, I think the Atlanta's one's better. 1, you got Julio Jones. if you look at any team in the NFL, there's not a better receiver than Julio Jones. He's the best. He's the best receiver in the league right now. When it's all said and done, could be one of the best ever. And then you look at the two guys. I think it drops off pretty quickly for the Patriots. Yes, there's Hogan, kind of plays the same role as Sanu. Well, there really is an all-time great receiver. And then you look at tight ends with Gronk, would be no contest. Still, Bennett, go-to, 100% tight end. I'd give it to the Patriots, but it's close. Again, everyone on offense in the pass-catching game will make plays. But since there's Julio Jones, it's clearly the advantage Atlanta, and then you look at the lines. The Patriots line has been great. Falcons line, there's some solid players. Matt Ryan has been hit a lot at times. There was a stretch against the Cardinals, I believe it was back in week 12. He was sacked something like 3 times in 4 plays. The other one didn't count. There's all this pressure. And now you look at, line, I'd give it to the Patriots. And now you look at the defense. The Patriots allowed just 15 points a game. It was the best in the NFL. The Falcons' defense, at times, it was good. Other times, it was just okay. Other times, it was pretty bad. So, I give it to the Patriots. So, look at the players, The Patriots have a better defensive line. There's Malcolm Brown, Jabal Shear, Trey Flowers. They have been outstanding this year. And also to name a few others. So, again, they've been great on the line, Then you look at linebackers. The Falcons have Vic Beasley, Deion Jones, Devore Campbell. 2 out of 3 of them are rookies, and also in their second year, Vic Beasley led the NFL in sacks. He was outstanding. And now you look at, Deion Jones, he made a lot of plays, was a finalist for Defensive Rookie of the Year. He was great this year. Campbell was pretty good as well, and now you look at the Patriots, they traded Jamie Collins. Here's an example of Jamie Collins. He was a really good player, but he's not completely buying the Belichick system. So, Belichick has zero tolerance for that. Traded him to the Browns, who is now looks to be a key part of their future. So, but the Patriots had guys fill in. Guys like Kyle Van Noy. Again, Belichick maximized his potential. He's not that good of a player before he came to New England. Now he's pretty good. Nikovic, he's not as good as a pass rusher as, say, he was 3-4 years ago. But still, he made some sacks this year. Look at the linebacking core. I'd give it to the Falcons since they're younger. They have more potential. Plus, Dante Hightower is going to be a free agent. By the way, he was spectacular this year. So you just look at it and you see, I give it to the Falcons. But the Patriots are more experienced. And now you look at the secondary. You look at guys on the Patriots. Logan Ryan, who, the ball is thrown him a lot this year. But again, he's still really good at stopping the pass. He's made some big plays throughout the playoffs. Malcolm Butler, 2 years ago, intercepted that pass in the Super Bowl. Was completely unknown. Now, he's well known. Again, has made it to 2 Pro Bowls. Did a really good job of shutting down Brown as the Patriots did. So you look at it and you see Malcolm Butler. I like Malcolm Butler. I think he's a good player for the Patriots. I really do. And then you look at the secondaries. McCourty, he's been outstanding. He's great at stopping the pass. About as good as any safety in the game, by the way. Had 7 interceptions as a Pro Bowler, as a cornerback. So again, changed positions, was really good at both. And you look at Patrick Chung. He's been there for about 8 years. He's okay. He's gotten better at pass defense during his career. Really struggled with that early on in his career. And, he's been here on all 3 Super Bowl teams. I don't know what to describe about him. He's been in the league for 8 years. He's never made a Pro Bowl. He's okay. I really don't know what to do with him. But still, I'd give the strong safety advantage to Atlanta, as I'll get to that in a minute. So, Atlanta's secondary. Desmond Trufant has pretty much been out for the second half of the year. The guys like Brian Poole, Jalen Collins, who have stepped up. Each of them has struggled at times. They don't have the experience that, say, Logan Ryan or Malcolm Butler do, say, in the playoffs, in the postseason, or really are not as well accomplished. And then you look at, the safeties. Ricardo Allen, he struggled against the pass defense at times. He did make some big plays, had some interceptions. He was pretty good at times. And Keanu O'Neal, I thought he had a really solid rookie season, made a lot of big hits. He's a really good defender. That's why I give the advantage, at least at strong safety, to the Falcons, since 1, he's younger, and 2, is already a better player than, say, Chung. Free safety, it's clearly McCourty. So when you look at the defense, clearly advantage. Patriots, there might be a couple Falcons players that say are better overall players, but as a whole, it goes to the Patriots. So, what would the game plans be? Well, we saw what the Patriots did. They did a great job of locking down Antonio Brown, and they also stopped Pittsburgh's run game. Well, and Le'Veon Bell was out as well, but they were spectacular at that. This defense for years, when they're in the playoffs, have had premier playmakers. They don't necessarily have a Rodney Harrison like they did in the earlier Super Bowl days, but look, they have some outstanding playmakers. This defense allowed the least amount of points in the league. They showed it late in the regular season. This defense is really good, and the Falcons' defense. Well, again, they're alright. They're okay. So anyways, what will the game plan be? So, if I were Atlanta, let's say I'd give the ball to Freeman and Coleman a lot. I'd do runs. I'd look for Julio Jones every play. Or, if you find other guys open, like maybe Sanu makes a lot of plays this year. Gabriel. They could throw a screen to Gabriel. He could be gone. They throw a screen to Jones, maybe throws a few people down and scores. Look, they're going to utilize their offense like they have all year long. And can the Patriots stop them? They stopped Pittsburgh, and they've stopped other good offenses throughout the year. So when you finally look at what they have, you see the offense. The Falcons may be slightly better on offense. The Patriots offense, well, I'd look for Chris Hogan, and of course, he could do better at beating guys like, say, Jalen Collins or Brian Poole or Robert Alford, better than, say, Jones would against Butler or Logan Ryan, or then there's McCourty. So you look at it, the Patriots have 3 really solid secondary starters. While the Falcons, I'd say Neal's their best secondary player right now. So again, it's going to be an offensive shootout. It's going to be a shootout. The Patriots are clearly favored. The reason why is I think their defense is that much better. They have a much better defense. So they may do a better job of shutting down Julio. They and also the Falcons don't have a third back that you can go with. So, look, the final score will be, my prediction, the Patriots will win. Patriots 20-30, Falcons 23. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be a fun Super Bowl. It's not going to be like last year's where it wasn't necessarily a blowout, but it wasn't necessarily close. There's going to be a lot of offense, but the Patriots offense is going to be better. The reason why is they have that much better defense. They're coached by Bill Belichick. Their coordinators are better. Matt Patricia. I actually thought he's going to be a head coach after this year. I definitely think he can be a head coach in this league later. Just great run team. They're better run than the Falcons were, say, certainly in the few years past, and even now. It's going to be a good game. So what this means if each team wins. So, like I said, I say the Patriots are going to win, but it's not guaranteed. This is only a prediction. If the Patriots win, that'll be 5 Super Bowls for Brady and Belichick. Boston fans will have yet another parade. So what this means for their legacy, Brady, you know what? I think it's still somewhat debatable whether he's the greatest of all time. He's not necessarily the greatest regular season numbers, but he is the best postseason quarterback ever. It's still Montana has 4, Bradshaw's 4 again. Completely different era than Bradshaw. Montana's still great, but if he wins his 5th Super Bowl, the debate is closed until someone else like Brady or Manning comes along. So the debate's going to be closed for a long time. And Belichick, he has 4 Super Bowl right up there with Noel. There's Bill Walsh. And you look at it, if Bill Belichick wins his 5th Super Bowl, that debate's closed. Brady, Belichick, best quarterback and coach combination ever is closed. It's official. But what if the Falcons win? The game hasn't been played yet. So what's going to happen? Well, Matt Ryan becomes an Atlanta legend. An MVP and a Super Bowl MVP in the same year. Matt Ryan, if he wins the Super Bowl, I think he'll be the Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year. Be the best athlete in sports, not football, whole entire sports world. And there's a lot of great athletes out there. So Matt Ryan is a legend in Atlanta. The Falcons moving to the new stadium will have so much hype. They'll be extraordinarily popular in Atlanta. They may be might be one of the more popular teams in the NFL. They're underdogs at the beginning of the year. Look, I said the Panthers would win the Super Bowl. I didn't think the Falcons could get out of their own division. I thought, maybe they can be a playoff contender. We'll see what happens. And throughout the year, they looked pretty good. They were solid. And then I thought, is Tampa Bay going to catch them? They never did. They got a first round bye. And they win that Super Bowl today. It's going to be a huge deal. While the Patriots at the beginning of the year, I really thought they were going to win the Super Bowl. I thought they'd make it to the Super Bowl. And I thought they'd lose to the Panthers. But then once the Panthers were out of the picture, I knew, look, they're winning the Super Bowl. That's who I predicted to win the Super Bowl when the playoffs started. And you look at it, and you think, well, that's how great the Patriots are. They've done it for so many years. You look back and say in 2001, when the Patriots, Bledsoe went down, Brady came right in. He was okay that year, because the numbers aren't that great, but he was a young quarterback. And let's go back to a story he told Mr. Kraft. He said, "You're the greatest decision this organization ever has made. If it's not the first, it is certainly either tied for first or a very, very close second." And then he won 2 more. And then now he's won a 4th. And I think they get their 5th today. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to watch. And it's going to be so much fun to see the ending regardless of who wins. It's going to be a great storyline of what happened. And so like I said, Patriots win the Super Bowl. Brady is the greatest ever. So are the Patriots, and that will bring them into a 3-way tie with the Niners and the Cowboys. They'll have 5 Super Bowls. They'll be right behind 6. The Patriots right now are the NFL's all-time elite. Well, when they're there, they'll be at the Mount Rushmore of NFL elites. You can say there was the Packers. I thought they might win the Super Bowl when they got in. You never knew if Aaron Rodgers. You look at the Cowboys, and then you look at the Steelers. The Patriots are Mount Rushmore's greatness. And before they won their first Super Bowl, they weren't even that relevant. And look, can they win another Super Bowl? I think they will do it today. So what's going on this NFL season? Well, a lot has happened. Throughout the year they're saying, the NFL is losing its popularity. My guess is it was due to politics. And then there was a lot of storylines happened this year. Brady was suspended. The Jimmy Garoppolo was great when he played. And then, a lot of surprises. The Dallas Cowboys, once again, were the best team in the NFL. But then, of course, they lost to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, miracles throughout the year. The bounce back of the Giants. The Steelers run to the AFC Championship game. Just so many runs happen. So, a lot's happened. The Panthers, well, they fell apart. They didn't even make it to the playoffs. And you've seen so much happen. So, assuming the Patriots win, what could be some early storylines for next year? Can the Patriots win 3 Super Bowls in 4 years? Can they win 6 Super Bowls by themselves? Can the Falcons, or was last year a fluke? Will the Panthers bounce back? We don't know what's going to happen. Like I said, every team that made the playoffs this year, we don't know what their future's like, pending free agency, pending the draft. So, thank you for listening, and we have an announcement right now. We're next NBA season, we're going to launch the NBA full season podcast and maybe even start in the playoffs. So I think the next time we'll be back is through March Madness. But again, it's been an amazing NFL season. A lot has happened. So much has already happened. So much more can happen in one game, and there will be a Super Bowl champion. Either the Patriots have 5 or the Falcons win their first. So thank you for listening. And we'll see you in a few weeks.